Consider the physical substance of the modern world. The copper threaded through the wiring of your home and your car. The cobalt and nickel packed inside the battery of your phone. The zinc that stops steel from rusting, and the coal that helped forge that steel in the first place. A remarkable share of these raw materials, dug from the earth and moved across the planet, passed at some point through the hands of a single, secretive company based in a quiet Swiss town. It is called Glencore, and this is a series about the companies that run the world. Glencore embodies a rare and formidable combination, that of the company which both digs the raw materials out of the ground and then trades them across the world. Most firms do one or the other. They are miners or they are traders. Glencore is both, at colossal scale, sitting astride the physical arteries through which the raw stuff of industrial civilization actually flows. It is, at once, a producer of commodities and a merchant of them. Its origins lie in one of the most notorious figures in the history of business, the commodity trader Mark Rich, who built a legendary and controversial empire moving oil and metals around the world, before famously fleeing the United States to escape prosecution. Out of the company he founded, Glencore eventually emerged, carrying forward a culture of intense secrecy, aggressive deal-making, and a willingness to operate in the difficult corners of the world that more cautious firms avoid. To understand Glencore, you have to see its two halves working together. The first is a vast trading operation, one of the largest commodity traders on earth. It buys and sells enormous volumes of metals, minerals, and energy, moving them between the places that produce them and the places that need them, and profiting on the flow. The second half is a giant mining business, digging the raw materials out of the ground itself. It is this rare marriage of the merchant and the miner that truly sets Glencore apart. It does not merely move the world's metals, it also produces them. That mining arm reaches into some of the most critical materials of our age. Glencore is a major producer of copper, the metal that carries electricity and that the entire modern world runs on. And crucially, it is one of the largest producers of cobalt, a metal essential to many batteries, much of it coming from the mines of the Democratic Republic of Congo. That cobalt position makes Glencore a genuine choke point in the future of energy. As the world races to build electric vehicles and to electrify everything, demand for these battery metals is soaring. And the supply of some of them, cobalt above all, is concentrated in remarkably few hands, in difficult places, with Glencore among the most powerful players controlling the flow of a material the green future cannot do without. The scale of the whole enterprise is enormous, though its shape can be deceptive. Because trading involves buying and selling vast quantities of physical goods, Glencore's revenue runs into the hundreds of billions of dollars a year, making it, by that measure, one of the largest companies on the entire planet. And yet, one that most ordinary people have never knowingly encountered at all. Here lies one of the most striking tensions of the modern economy, embodied in a single company. Glencore is, at the same time, one of the world's great miners and sellers of coal, the dirtiest of fossil fuels, and one of the key suppliers of the copper and cobalt that the clean energy transition urgently requires. It profits, in other words, from both the old carbon-heavy world and the new electric one that is meant to replace it. The moat that protects this position is subtle but powerful. By operating both mines and trading desks across the globe, Glencore possesses an almost unrivaled view of the world's commodity flows, of who has what, of where the shortages and gluts are forming. That deep market intelligence, combined with its physical assets, its logistics, and its relationships, gives it an edge that a pure trader or a pure miner would struggle to replicate. But this is also a company that has walked, repeatedly, on the dark side of the commodity business, and it must be said plainly. Glencore has pleaded guilty to sweeping charges of bribery and market manipulation, spanning multiple countries and years, in some of the largest corporate corruption cases of recent times. And beyond the bribery, it has faced persistent, serious criticism over pollution and over the human toll of mining in some of the poorest and most fragile corners of the world. The murky reputation of the entire commodity trade is, in Glencore, made uncomfortably concrete. It is not, of course, without rivals. In the world of trading, it faces other secretive giants like Trafigura and Vitol. In mining, It contends with a great diversified miners, such as BHP, Rio Tinto, and Vale. But very few competitors combine the two, the mine and the market, with the same completeness that Glencore does, giving it a distinctive and durable place at the center of the raw materials economy. So we reach the question this series always asks of what would break if Glencore vanished. And the answer is that the movement of some of the world's most essential metals would be thrown into turmoil. The intricate flows that match the metal dug up in one country to the factory that needs it in another for both the fossil fuel present and the electric future would suddenly lose one of their most important orchestrators. Which brings us to the uncomfortable question, in a distinctly physical and gritty form. Is it wise for so much of the supply of the metals that will build our future and the fuels that still run our present to flow through a single, secretive trading house with a documented history of serious misconduct? It places extraordinary influence over the physical foundations of the economy into a set of very private and not always clean hands. To be fair, and it deserves acknowledgement, Glencore performs a genuinely vital and difficult function. Someone has to find the metals, dig them up, and move them reliably from the scattered and often unstable places they are found to the factories of the world that turn them into everything we use. It is unglamorous, sometimes dangerous, and absolutely essential work, and Glencore does it at a scale and with an efficiency that few others could manage. And that is the deeper lesson of this particular giant. There is a raw and enduring form of power in controlling not ideas or brands or software, but the actual physical materials from which everything else is built. Glencore understood that if you can own both the mines that produce the metals and the networks that move them, you hold a firm grip on the literal elemental foundations upon which the entire modern world is constructed. So the next time you charge your phone or drive your car or simply flick on a light, spare a thought for the vast, invisible trade in raw materials that makes all of it possible. Somewhere in that hidden flow of copper and cobalt and coal, moving ceaselessly across the world, there is a very good chance you will find the quiet, secretive, and enormously powerful hand of Glencore.